All right, so I was thinking about part of building a mothership. There's a big process to build a mothership and on Mother Earth, and part of the process is making garden towers around on like all 7 to 8 continents, including Australia, so that within 100 years, so that we don't flood. And that's just to prevent flooding, and we would put hemp in the garden towers and start using hemp for everything within the next 100 years. And this is to build a mothership. And if you want to build a mothership, it's going to take a few thousand years. So it's kind of weird. You would need like a life elixir to make a mothership if you were going to envision a mothership. And I envisioned a mothership after looking at a world map and looking to prevent the global flooding, because I saw a map of the world flooded within 100 years estimate, and I think, and that's what it said. And then so I was saying we should just build garden towers and start using hemp, like sky farming, like a big flats of garden towers, and start growing hemp to prevent flooding, and start using hemp in everything from like furniture to creating homes to paper to like food to like plastics and toilet paper and like you can make like chairs out of it and stuff. It's like you can use it from like cement to like wood. And so you can prevent the global flooding with just garden towers and hemp, and you start using hemp for like everything. That's like a global life-saving from flooding thing to do in 100 years. To do that, to build garden towers and sky farming, and building garden towers with hemp in it, and start using hemp and starting like $1 trillion economy, because hemp is $1 trillion crop. And so there's a TED talk about that as well. And so then that's that right there, part of like building a mothership to prevent global flooding, because that's going to happen. And then it's the gist of it is to pretty much like prevent humanity from becoming extinct on itself. That's how you have humanity live as a whole civilization on Mother Earth for that long to build a mothership. That's what you have to do to make a mothership for Mother Earth, like a starship, but like a big mothership for the whole human species. And so I envisioned it, and it's purple on the outer exterior, and the Pleiadians are going to help us build it. And it's a big purple starship, like a sphere, like a grape or something like that, to blend in with the blackness of outer space. So that's pretty cool. It can get to like that, and I guess it could like light up and be light and bright. And so to get to that stage, you not just have to prevent global flooding and by building garden towers with hemp and starting like a whole new eco-based economy with hemp and starting $1 trillion industry with just hemp and booming that. You also, like, to prevent the flooding, that's like a plus right there that's going to happen to prevent global flooding, and building garden towers with hemp. We have to like help humanity start living longer by breathing in cleaner air, so there's no like CO2 emission, and switching to like cleaner means of power. And so you'd have to start using like electric cars and putting air purifiers within the cars on the outside and insides of the cars. And that's a whole new industry in of itself I want to talk about as well. It's the garden towers with hemp. And then we'll be breathing in fresh air from the global automobile industry, adding in air purifiers in the cars on the outside and inside of the cars. We will also be switching to like solar power instead of like nuclear power plants. So then we'll be generating cleaner power as well. So we'll be like living longer, being safer, preventing from flooding, And we'll be living longer from breathing in cleaner air from putting in air purifiers on the cars outside and inside of all automobiles, garden towers on all continents, as well as automobiles on automobiles on all continents with air purifiers. Garden towers with hemp, again including the hemp, for the $1 trillion economy, and it's like a vital crop that we need to like boost and implement into the global economies of all continents on Earth. We'll be switching to like solar power on all continents on Earth, and that'll be safer as well. So we'll be cleaning up the ozone emission, breathing in fresher air, introducing hemp, and switching to solar power, so we'll be living longer. That's the main goal, is to keep the humanity living longer and as living as long as possible. That's how you maintain like a human, like the human species. I got 100% humanistic psychology, so I can see why there's I mesh so much. I understand how to keep humanity living as long as possible, and as an age-wise, as a whole human species, as age, and as long as possible, like through like as for infinity. That's the main purpose, to reach infinity, and for the whole human species, and that would be to make sure it's able to live as long as possible within the universe. And so if we build a mothership, we can do that, so we can actually live as a whole human species in the universe for as long as possible. Because if we have a mothership, you can reach another planet, and then you just keep hopping planets and making home planets, and then you can do that and create like a whole mechanical race of humans on your own, and just help other extraterrestrial species. And so that's like what you can reach if you can make sure the whole Earth isn't flooding and it's using fresher air, so there's no irregular heat from global warming from CO2 emissions, since you'll be using electric powered cars and solar power with air purifiers on the cars on the outside and inside. We'll be living longer and introducing hemp. All the plants will be breathing in fresh air, so we'll be getting more nutrients from the plants as well, and so everything's like meshing and breathing and living longer. And so then we'll be feeling better as well as a whole human species. And the planet, it will be feeling better as well if we can do this transition within 100 years to boost the whole human species' like biology. And then within like 200 to like 400 years, 500 years, we'll be seeing that like dramatically, the gain from that 100 years of hard work within like an industrial revolutionary unionization pace. It seems we can within 100 years, if we do all that and implement that within 100 years, we'll be able to survive and live longer and just live as a society that lives by those means and codes of like living longer and being ecologically friendly, and using the plant kingdom as safely and as beneficially as we need, because hemp only has 0.03% THC, so it's not able to get you high. The crop is used to make a lot of stuff, and the U.S. colonists and the patriots brought hemp to do just that, but the U.S. fell on its ways, and now it needs to tremendously like boost its hemp use again, and we could do that in the garden towers and just pretty much grow every kind of agricultural crop in the garden towers. They call it sky farming, and so we could use that to prevent the flooding and just generate a lot more produce to sustain a ever more populating human species. And so if we can live that long, I'm planning to try to take an elixir and live as long as possible to build the mothership, since I envisioned a mothership. Because if you're going to envision making and creating a mothership for the human species, you'd have to live that long to create it. And so we'll be living as long as possible by preventing the global flooding in 100 years through garden towers and sky farming. Okay, that's safe. Cars with air purifiers that are electric. All right, we'll be cleaning up the toxicized planet that humanity has been doing. Okay, that's great. We'll be creating planes with air purifiers on the inside and outside. All right, that's good too. Pretty much every automobile, like motorcycles and scooters, and that'd be great. And heck, maybe just like a lot of chips to purify air, like put them on skateboards and stuff. That'd be good too. And solar panels, that's going to be safe. That's going to be much safer and better for humanity. And so you can see that humanity will be living longer with my money gaining ways, and by introducing hemp and all these new powers in eco-friendly power and automobile generating outlets, which are all a necessity to build the mothership. We can make a mothership because I'll be able to keep humanity alive, living longer for as long as possible, and through the prevention of the flooding within 100 years, that's possibly supposed to happen from like multiple global maps I saw, world maps. So yeah, this just to say, like, I have envisioned and stretched humanity on a timeline to live and survive, and as best as possible, to allow humanity to live as best as possible for as long as possible, and to like totally abolish all those dark cults and stuff like that worship evil spirits, and do that, then humanity will be as holy as possible, and that's what determines the evolution of a whole species within the universe, is like how holy and advanced. Thus, more advanced you'll be if you keep the whole human species holy. And so then you are able to create a mothership, and that's how I envision the human species to be, and to cut all the Monsanto and GMO to keep all the organic agriculture as pure as possible as well. So it's eating what it should be eating naturally, born on Earth, Mother Earth. And so this mothership that I envision to build by 8000 AD, near Africa, near the oceans of Africa, under India, is a big purple spheric mothership in which multiple countries help to build the main components, and then to help build all the other components as well at the same, all as countries on Mother Earth as well. So then they're all participating to build the mothership for Mother Earth. And like Africa would be helping to generate in the future, to generate the exterior of the ship would be associated with the Pleiadians, and working to build the exterior purple spheric base of the ship. And then like China would be helping to work with like solar energy and free energy, like magnetic energy as well, for the engine of the ship. And there'd be air purifiers on the inside of the mothership as well, of course, to live as long. And that's perfect. And then like using solar power, the solar siphon of the ship, like Latin America would help with that, the solar siphon. And then like Europe and Australia and America, North America, would help with like communications and the engines of the ship. And like each in India would help with like the locations and the maps and like the stars, and same with North America would help with that as well. Like every country would help with that as well within the universe, for like space navigation as well. And to travel the stars, the Native Americans would help with that as well, because they have experience with hallucinogenics, and you can travel the stars by knowing extraterrestrials and talking with extraterrestrials and connecting with them through telepathy and possible in the future maybe some interactions with extraterrestrials, part of the Galactic Federation of Light, of course, and under those guidances and watches and approvals, that would be, as humanity's main headquarters, the Galactic Federation of Light, that would be good. And so I see an actual mothership, and I envision it, and I can create it, and those are the blueprints of the whole world helping, because it would be a mothership for the whole human species. That's why each continent would be like helping to, like ethnic race would be having a grasp of like the main components of the mothership to make a whole mothership for Mother Earth, and that's what I see, to bring the whole human species together as well. And those are like the blueprints and the foundation to building a mothership for Mother Earth, as I have like solved like a puzzle kind of and a question to keep the human species going for as long as possible in the universe. And to do that, you would need a mothership, and that is the mothership for Mother Earth. And so that's like my life purpose, I guess, and I found that out. And it's like it's ever key that we do this by 2100 to build garden towers around the whole Earth with hemp in it, to start a whole $1 trillion economy with hemp. And we do that so that we prevent the flooding, and there'd be garden towers all around the Earth. And we would also have to do all those other components, like building the cars with air purifiers in it all around the whole Earth, switching to solar panel power around the whole Earth, and hemp, introducing hemp, I said, and then putting air purifier towers around the whole Earth. That would be good as well. And also introducing like free energy towers in the future, boosting that every 100 years, to introduce free energy tower in all of our power, and automobiles and planes and ships would have air purifiers on the inside and outside, and they'd be generating off of free energy, and so then there'd be no emission, just like electricity, but it's an evolution of electric power to move on to free energy magnetic power to do that. And so that's another step in the future to do that, is to introduce free energy for the whole human species as well. And so these are my plan. That is the plan for a mothership, to be able to build a mothership for Mother Earth, is to be able to keep the whole human species alive. And then you have to start doing this in space by finding a home planet, and then colonizing another planet and doing that in space and living longer on that planet as well. And it may as well possibly be a bigger planet, or have multiple planets for the human species. And by the time we make our first mothership, we'll be working with other extraterrestrials to build our mothership, because it takes teamwork within the universe to travel the universe. And so, you have to find direction, and so that we don't become extinct. And then, so we would have to follow the Galactic Federation of Light and obey and be along the guidelines of the Galactic Federation of Light, so that we are safe, and so that we don't become extinct as a whole human species. And that's the main purpose that's the main guidelines to live in the universe, is to make sure we do not become extinct as a whole human species, on planet and in space, so that we're safe and not meshing with beings that are always in battle and in war at each other. And so we would always have to our main guidelines would be to be following the path of peace and love and light and love. And so we are safe, and that we know we're not going to be fighting or being hostile towards any other beings in the universe. And we have to do that ourselves, and we have to relinquish our evil ways of demonic worshiping and causing demonic evil practices on Mother Earth as a whole planet. And our mothership would also have to include like water beings as well, from Atlantis and Lemuria, if there are beings in the water, like a species like I think like the Noras or something, that are like aquatic, humanoid-like beings, and we'd have to allow for that. And so we could do that as well as allowing for beings from Agartha within the interior of Mother Earth to live in the mothership as well, to be on the mothership as well, because we would have to be able to travel and communicate and relate with beings in the interior of Mother Earth, which is Agartha, and be able to travel there within a mothership somehow, or within a smaller starship subset that could fit in the mothership, or that could just travel that quickly in space, to be able to allow for Agarthan beings to live and reside in the mothership as well. So that's something that we would be doing as well, is talking with all beings, from aquatic beings to Agartha, all beings of Mother Earth, and have representatives for the mothership so that we can communicate in the mothership with each other's species to help be able to travel the stars safely and be prepared to travel the stars. And our main priority and focus in traveling the stars would be safety. And so safety in traveling and in the mothership, and the mothership's safety, so that it's like as safe as possible. And that would be our main priority and focus, so that we know that we're going to be safe and not be hurt or injured in space while traveling in the mothership. And that would be our goal to set upon and to live for as long as possible. And we could help with other species, motherships as well, to be as safe as possible and to help evolve them and advance. And when the time is right, when we are evolved and can as well, to be as holy as possible and to live as long as possible is the main focus for all species in the universe, on all dimensions, like hyper dimensions and hyper interdimensions and parallel dimensions within the universe. Integrate that to live within the universe as long as possible as well, and allow those capabilities and functions within the mothership as well. And I'll be making more videos as more ideas I have, but that's what I just wanted to say. And it's a video I really wanted to make to let out, to know that I got to that stage. And yeah, I'm the kid that made the DMT experience video that I took down because I got scared of, if I had it, I shouldn't have taken my page down, that's for sure. But yeah, that's a video update, so that's good to let you guys know that I got to that stage, and that's something I have to let you guys know that we need to do, so that it's gonna help generate money. And it's just like it's some course sort of, it's like, it feels like it's like an Elon Musk, as some people say, and endeavor, and that's my goal. That's how you make a mothership, and that's like a present in a box right there that I let you guys know. A mothership from Mother Earth has been planned out and envisioned by me.